Please remove this vase from here. It's not looking good. And also remove those flowers. Only keep daisies in the house. Jungkook only liked them most. She was checking each and every details in the house and looking so nervous as Mr. John chuckled and came near her. Calm down, Yobo. Everything is fine. You are taking stress for no reason. I don't know why, but I'm nervous. He's coming back after 10 years. I just hope you like everything. Who knows, his taste might have changed and he prefers roses over daisy? They chuckled. I just can't wait to see him. I've prepared his favorite dishes. I hope he still like that. He can never forget his favorite food, that too cooked by you. She smiled and nodded. Today Vian didn't came. I didn't saw her since morning. Her grandma is sick, so she took a leave. Such a responsible girl. I wonder how can someone be so strong in such a young age. Bad time changes everything. He nodded. Mrs. John's heart skipped a beat when she saw her son entering inside. She quickly rushed towards the door to welcome him. Mrs. John's eyes teared up when she saw her son Jungkook passed her a smile and bowed at them politely. For an instant, I didn't even able to recognize you. How well my child has grown up into a handsome man. Jungkook chuckled slightly and hugged her lovingly while she started to cry. I thought I will get welcomed by your smiling face, but you are crying. Aren't you happy to see me? She broke the hug and looked at him. These are my tears of happiness. I'm so happy. He wiped her tears and then Mr. John shared a deep hug with his son and patted his back. Welcome back, Jungkook. You might be tired of all day flying, right? Go and get refreshed. I've prepared your favorite breakfast. Thank you so much, Mom. He smiled and walked towards his room. Jungkook threw his head back and shook it to jerk the sweat from his hairs. He just finished his morning run and was going towards the mansion when his feet stopped in the middle. He saw a girl going inside it. She was much younger than anyone else in the mansion and that made him wonder, who is she? He tried to follow her but she already went inside the mansion. He came inside while his eyes were wandering everywhere as she just came like a gust of wind and disappeared. Jungkook was trying to find her as he started to feel like he just imagined it. You done with your morning jog? He flinched slightly and looked in the direction of his mother. She came near him smiling. You should go and wash up. You are all drenched in sweat. He nodded and ran upstairs. You came inside the living room as you already started doing your work. Mrs. John came near you. How's your grandma now? You smiled and nodded. She's a lot better. She patted your head. I will surely go and visit her. By the way, Vian, I don't know if you get this news or not, but my son has came and he will stay here for few days until he will shift in his own apartment. So I want you to take care of his things, like he's a little picky and he don't like many people around him. So I only want one person to take care of his things. Would you do this? You nodded. Her phone buzzed as she got a message from her husband. I have a very important meeting, so I have to leave. Vian, soon Jungkook will come down for his breakfast. Please see that, okay? You nodded while she left in hurry. Jungkook came in the dining room and his steps slowed when he saw you arranging the dishes on dining table. He just forgot all his surroundings for a second. His heartbeat got uneven as an unknown feeling rose inside him. He slowly walked near the table and sat while you politely bowed at him. Do you work here? You nodded while looking down. An Ajumma has assigned me to take care of you, so if you want anything then let me know. Ajumma? He asked confused while you looked at him. Yes, your mother. He chuckled but just a little that it was barely noticeable. Why did she choose you? You shrugged your shoulder. I don't actually know. She said you don't like many people around you, so she only wants one person who can take care of this. He nodded. Please enjoy your meal and if you need anything, just call me. He nodded while you left. He looked in your direction and chuckled. I remember he was only 15 when he left to US and now we are seeing a well-built handsome man. They laughed while Jungkook was trying to get along but his mind was not really there. Now I just want to relax without any tension. I've given all the responsibility of John groups in his hands. How about marriage? When men drown themselves in work, they just forget about love life. So my advice is first find a beautiful and successful girl and get married. Or do you already have one? They again laughed. I just want a girl who can understand him and will love him unconditionally. She said, smiling at him. Meanwhile, you and other mates came there with all the snacks and drinks. Jungkook's heart again skipped a beat as he suddenly felt like he found water in the desert. You placed the drink on the table and you all bowed and left. You could feel Jungkook's eyes on you, which left you confused. You gasped when you came inside this area of Jungkook's room. You just got lost. You took a book and a smile appeared on your face. I can't believe there's something this wonderful present in this mansion. So Mr. Jungkook is a bookworm. That's why most of the time he spent in his room only. You came in Jungkook's room to clean it but fortunately found this corner and because you like to read a lot, this made your day. You just sat on the floor resting your back against the bookshelf and started reading it. Jungkook found his library room door open so he came inside and looked around but when his eyes fell on you, his heart again started to beat. He saw you completely lost in the books as sometimes you were frowning your brows, other times just smiling shyly. He watched you standing there until you closed the book and stretched your arms up. This is so good as expected. I wish I could read it further. You got up and put the book back in its place as you turned to go when your eyes fell on Jungkook and you gulped. You like reading? He said coming inside as he raised his hand and picked the same book you were reading earlier. While you looked down and nodded. I'm sorry to touch your stuff without asking. I just couldn't control myself. I won't do that again, I promise. Jungkook extended the book towards you. You should finish what you have started. I don't even put a book down once I started to read. You smiled and take it from him. Thank you so much. It's really nice to find someone with same hobbies. I'm happy to find someone who like books just like me. You smiled. They just take us to a whole different world and that's why I love reading. He nodded. I have to clean rest of the room. Thank you for the book. You bowed and walked out while Jungkook followed you. You vacuumed the entire room and was cleaning the glass window while smiling on your own. Jungkook came and sat on the bed. How long you have been working here? You flinched and looked back only to find him sitting on his bed. A year, I guess. Why? I mean, why you decided to do this job? You brought your lips together in a pout and shrugged your shoulders. Maybe because I'm not qualified for any other job and also here I get more benefits than any part-time job, so why not? You smiled and again started to clean the window. 1 week later. You and Jungkook started to feel comfortable with each other. Most of the time you guys spend on reading and talking about different books. It's like he never let you do any work and always talk about things he loved. Sometimes he even helped you with the work so that no one will doubt. Other mates started to envy you. They sometimes caught him smiling looking at you which makes them suspect you. Thank you so much. She smiled at you while you bowed. Then she looked at Mrs. John. When is Jungkook joining the CEO position? Maybe this week. He's moving in his apartment. You felt upset hearing this. He's still so shy and introvert. I wonder how will he get along with people when he barely talked to anyone. A smile appeared on your face, but you didn't let it show because only you know that he doesn't shut up. I'm also worried about it, but I know he will handle. Your eyes widened in surprise when you saw Jungkook at your door. He turned towards you when you opened the door. It was almost midnight and everyone fell asleep in the mansion and even in Maid's quarters. But here he is standing in front of your door. What are you doing here? You said, looking around, praying to God that no one see you like this. Where were you all day today? You gave him a confused look. What do you mean? Why didn't you came in the library? You sighed. Because you were busy in visiting your office and all those work stuff. How can I go there in your absence? He exhaled. Can I come in? You blinked your eyes as it was completely unexpected. What? I said I'm coming in. He stepped forward when you came in middle, making him raise his brow. What is this? You looked at him. You shouldn't come here. I would be in trouble if someone saw you here. Go. He looked at you for a minute and then walked in while you followed with wide eyes. You come in my room whenever you want, then why can't I? He said, laying on the bed while you walked near him. There's a difference. I work there, but you have no reason to come here. I also have a reason. You frowned and walked near him. And what is that? He cleared his throat and looked around when his eyes fell on a book you have started reading earlier with him. You were trying to read this book without me, right? You looked at the book and sighed. I didn't even get time to read it. He nodded. Then let's read it together, he said, picking the book. We can't. You need to go from here. He looked at you with straight face, which made you a little nervous. Who's the master here? I want to read it here only. You sighed and walked near him and sat on the chair beside the bed. Okay, I won't say anything. Maybe this is the last book we are reading together. He looked at you. Why? Are you quitting? You inhaled. I heard that you're leaving this week. It's like someone introduced him to the real world as he looked down at the book and hummed. I'm leaving tomorrow. Your heart clenched as you looked at him surprised. This shouldn't upset you, but it felt like someone is taking away something very close to you. Tomorrow? He nodded and exhaled deeply. That's why I want to end this book. Maybe I won't get time to read like how I do now. He extended the book towards you. Here, read it for me. You looked at him but didn't say anything as it felt like you have lost somewhere. He waved it in front of you. Will you? You took the book from his hand. He patted the mattress beside him. It's cold. You can sit here. You shook your head. I'm good. I'm not asking you. You gulped and slowly sat on the bed while he secured a pillow to support your back, and now you two were sitting on the same bed under the same blanket. Your heart was beating so fast that it felt like it will come off from your chest any time. Shall we? You nodded. You opened the book and started reading it. Jungkook didn't even know he was hearing anything or not. His heart again started to beat in an uneven way. He looked at your lips which were moving in the rhythm. He studied each and every details of your face and his heart was pulling him more and more closer to you. First, you didn't really wanted to read because it was so heartbreaking for you to know that he's leaving tomorrow and you won't be able to see him like this, or maybe he will just change completely and forget you. But as you were reading, those characters seems to come alive and you could see Jungkook and you in them. It's like that you are playing those roles. Suddenly you felt something heavy on your shoulder and when you looked, Jungkook fell asleep, resting his head on your shoulder. Your heart skipped a beat. You stayed in the same position as you were afraid to wake him up, and for no reason your eyes started to tear up. You finally accepted that you are feeling this way because you won't be able to see him from tomorrow onwards, and even if you do, these days will never come back. Slowly the book closes by itself as your head dropped on top of his as you fell asleep. Next morning, you woke up on the bed alone as you realized Jungkook has gone and you are already 30 minutes late. You quickly got up and got refreshed. After that, you came out from the bathroom wearing your housekeeper dress. While you were buttoning your shirt, your eyes fell on the book you were reading last night with Jungkook. There was a note on top of that as you slowly walked near it and picked it up. A smile appeared on your lips as you read it. Jungkook has left this note and it says, "Don't read it without me." Your smile was weak and sad. You put it on top of the book in exact way and left from there. When you came in the mansion, everything was different. You don't have to go to Jungkook's room for cleaning it. Neither you need to serve him his breakfast in his room because he didn't feel like coming down. You can't go and read books. Everything was so empty and you didn't able to understand what to do. He didn't even said goodbye before leaving. Go and wash those dishes. You are the one who's getting most benefit while barely doing any work. You were not in a good mood to argue, so you silently walked near the sink and started doing the dishes. She rolled her eyes and walked away. I thought you were getting me breakfast, but what the hell you are doing? Your heart skipped a beat as you quickly turned back and saw Jungkook standing there, crossing his arms around his chest. You're still here? He came near you. Didn't I told you that you will not do any work until I tell you to do that? I thought you left. I'm not going to leave that easily. Remember, we still have many books to finish. You felt like crying as you were so happy to see him. Are you okay? Why are you talking to yourself? You flinched when she came, and when you looked beside you, Jungkook wasn't there. She came near you. Is everything okay with you? You pressed your lips together and nodded. Finish it quickly, we have other works too. She left from there while a tear dropped from your eyes as you realized it was just an illusion of him. 2 days passed and you never heard anything from Jungkook. It would be a lie if you say that you didn't miss him. You heard from Mrs. John that he is occupied in his work and now you were trying to accept that it was a mini phase of your life that passed. A maid and a master can never be together and this is destiny that no one can change. You looked at the same book which was laying on the same position on top of the table as he left. You never dared to pick that up because it always reminded you of him. You closed your eyes and pulled the blanket over your face, but it was so hard for you to fall asleep when all you do is to think about Jungkook. Suddenly you heard the same door knock as your heart skipped a beat. You ran to open it and when you saw Jungkook standing at the door, a smile appeared on your face, but it quickly faded as you thought it is only an illusion. You were about to close the door and leave when he stopped you from closing it. It's been only 2 days and you already started ignoring me. You stopped and turned at him. He wasn't an illusion. He's there for real. He came inside and locked the door. When did you came? Just an hour ago. You nodded. He walked inside and sat on the bed while you smiled. I had this dream that you read that book without me, so I just came. You chuckled and walked near him. I didn't even touch it. You are loyal, so do you want to read it now? He said, extending it towards you while you smiled and nodded. Just like how we left it that night. He said, patting the mattress beside him, and this time you didn't hesitate a bit and sat beside him while he pulled the blanket over both of your waist and smiled. You ready? You nodded. You started to read, and after some time he spoke. Did you miss me? You stopped as your heart again started to beat. I'm just asking because I felt that emptiness inside me, and then I realized what I was missing actually, and now when I see you, I'm not feeling empty anymore. You gulped and didn't dare to look at him. Maybe because now you have to do your work by yourself. You should hire someone to do that. Why would I hire anyone when I have you? You looked at him. I would have brought you with me if I wanted to, but I don't want to take you there as someone who works for me. You gulped as you could feel that what he's trying to say. I'm nothing more than a housemaid and I can't do anything more than that. You've already become more than anything. It's just you still didn't get it. Before you could understand anything, he pressed his lips against yours. After struggling with his thoughts, he finally able to find the courage to express his love for her.